Konami is rumored to have 2 Silent Hill games in development. Konami eventually responded to these rumors, saying that they are in fact looking at ways to continue the franchise and paying close attention to what the community has been talking about to figure out how they're going to take the franchise in the future. And I have here, please God, no pachinko machines. I actually don't want Konami to do Silent Hill, but they're the only people that can right now.
Yeah.
And so that's just something I'm going to have to live with.
I'm going to keep it real. I think Silent Hill needs to die. I think
definitely, if Resident Evil is still here, Silent Hill does not need to fucking die. Silent Hill just needs to not be with Konami.
I think that the fact that we have Resident Evil, we don't need Silent Hill.
They're wildly different horror games. Wildly.
They are, but they're not.
And Silent Hill, I'm going to be real, we're going to be on opposite ends.
It's not
Silent Hill 2 is the greatest horror game of all time.
Nah.
And Silent Hill, for atmosphere, shits.
No.
Wildly. Story, shits. Wildly.
Story, yes.
Basically everything about Silent Hill is better than Resident Evil.
I can't.
Almost categorically.
I can't go there. I can't go. I think Resident Evil 2 is better than Silent Hill 2.
No. And if we got PT that came out that Kojima was doing, that was basically the Silent Hill 2 extension, and you put that up against Resident Evil of any kind that exists today, it would take massive fucking dumps all over it.
I don't know, man. Resident Evil 7 VR. We had the Silent Hill VR that was going to come. Looked very similar, except we actually got one. The other one we didn't get. I don't know. I've been playing a bit of Silent Hill 2. It is a classic. It's a great game, but I cannot put it on the level. I'm a Resident Evil guy over Silent Hill guy. I just am. I see the appeal. I can't hate on people that love the game and think it is the greatest horror game of all time. I just have to go with my Resident Evil. And I really feel like Silent Hill, it's never been as popular as Resident Evil. And
that's because it's not an action game.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's a survival horror game. It's very similar to Resident Evil. It really is. Resident Evil was a bit more action-based, but even the old ones, Director's Cut 2, 3, it wasn't as crazy. It got crazy. Resident Evil got very action-like beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, it was the very survival horror. I think that Resident Evil is doing it well today. The remakes are good. I would much rather see a Silent 2 remake done well like the Resident Evil 2 remake than what I would to continue to see what they're going to do with Silent Hill. I think if we could get that re-experience in 2020, like we did with Resident Evil 2, and they did it well, we know that they can do it.
Well, that's
then,
what I mean.
Then I'm down for that. But
everyone would be on
board.
But
I'm not sure I want.
Oh, like I said, I don't want Konami to do Silent Hill. The problem is I don't have a choice.
Yeah,
they're the license holders.
Yeah,
I don't get to choose who does Silent Hill.
My vote is no more. My vote is let it stay a classic, let it stay great, and move on. We got enough of this shit already. If they're going to come up with Silent Hill, I loved what they were going to do. But even what they were going to do, I'm not even sure that works today. Because we've now had it. And, there was something different about that Silent Hill demo, that it was exciting, new, fresh, scary, but that was years ago now, like 3 years ago, feels like 3 years ago. We've seen a lot of horror come within that time that have done what they did, but not in that world. I feel like they would need to push it even further and do something like wow people like they did during that demo.
They'd face the exact same problem as the next Resident Evil game is going to face. And in fact, I have that on my list right now. Resident Evil 8's first info has been leaking, and it's another first-person game. Is the rumor right now. Ethan from 7 is the protagonist. First person, zombies return. New enemy type, werewolves, woo baby. New stalker enemy type, woo baby. Chris Redfield shows up probably on HGH. Like, they're facing the same problem as Resident Evil. Yeah. We've done this.
Yeah, we have.
Shit, we're even bringing back 7's protagonist.
Yeah.
So it's not that there's too much of it or whatever the fuck. There's more than enough room for more than one mainstream horror title that does first person. Like, there's more than enough of that shit. And in fact, Resident Evil 7 probably took an awful lot from PT because PT was in development before Resident Evil 7 was.
Possible.
And so
I just saw what they did with 7 was so unique because...
Well, it was VR, so it's going to feel unique in the first place.
But even with the puzzles,
early.
like finding things and then doing the puzzles like in your face, it was like a beautiful mix.
The crazy thing about PT was how it tracked what you were doing in the environment and what it changed in the environment. So it wasn't like figuring stuff out and stuff happening, triggers in the environment were it was monitoring how you played and reacted to it, which nobody has done. And to the degree that they were doing, to the point where people were still finding new events within the demo years later. And people were so excited for this shit that they were before it was taken down, everyone saved it to like their PlayStation and left it there
so they
can have it.
Yeah.
And then people have been dissecting it. People were hacking it recently that they got outside of the house and they were exploring like the fucking street outside the house and shit. Like, this is big. The fact that you would have been getting Silent Hill done by Kojima is like a fucking wet dream.
I'm not gonna lie, it looked great. No, it looked great.
So I don't want Konami to do Silent Hill.
I just don't want any more of these games because I'm enjoying what little bit we have, and I feel like if we get more people jumping on this shit, that it's just gonna ruin it for me. But who knows? If they do it great, I won't complain. If we get something like they had before, and it gets me excited, especially if it's VR, I'm in. I'm going to spend the money. But I don't know, man.
Resident Evil 8 is going to be VR.
Oh, of course.
It's gonna be first person.
I mean, yeah, this shit that they did.
This looks like it's a direct continuation of 7.
I loved 7 so much. 7 is my favorite horror game of all time now.
Yeah,
of all time, and of any game.
It's kind of hard to compete with a high fidelity VR horror game.
Of course,
because
but,
horror games outside of VR, you have to be really fucking good at creating that ambiance.
Yeah, the atmosphere.
The atmosphere that is super difficult.
Yeah.
Because we've been playing them for so many years.
We're desensitized.
It's like watching a horror movie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The only thing that really changes is that when you put that VR on, you have nothing else outside of you.
You don't even know you're in a room anymore.
And it puts
you're
you there.
in the game.
So it changes.
Yeah.
It changes everything, and it makes it a little easier for them to build that.
Yeah.
That atmosphere, and so it's going to change it in big ways. So there you go. There's your Silent Hill and Resident Evil news.
There you go.
At the same time.
There you go.
I just my wet dream is Konami sells Silent Hill to literally anyone.
Just get
anyone. Just get the fuck away from Konami.
Give it to Capcom.
All Konami's been doing is making pachinko machines for like the last decade.
Give it to Capcom.
Yes. Get anyone.
Give it to them.
I really don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Give it to anyone else.